My name's Travis. I'm married to a nurse, and so I hear all these terms all the time that come across. She talks about, this disease or this disorder or this thing or that. And when I heard this word for the first time, I honestly had no idea what it was. It's this word, and I got McHugh and his wife. I'm horrible with names. Heather, right? Yeah. Yes, nailed Heather. Okay. Anyway, so they came by to hang out because they have something near and dear to their heart. It's something called hydrocephalus.
Yes. And
I feel very proud that I can say that now.
You did good.
Yeah, because when you guys first were like, hey, this is, what it is, and you were telling me about it, I'm like, hydro what, But hydrocephalus is a pretty intense thing. And you were telling me that this month is Hydrocephalus Awareness Month. And so what does that mean? What is hydrocephalus, and what are we talking about?
Sure. Well, hydrocephalus, the common thing for hydrocephalus is water on the brain. Basically, the brain has a large buildup of water on it, where the aqueducts in the brain aren't able to allow that water to drain off. So it's Hydrocephalus Awareness Month for us because we have a little baby girl with hydrocephalus, and she will always have hydrocephalus.
Now, I want to take a step back real quick because, you talked about the draining thing. Mm-hmm. This is something, it's like breathing for most of us, right?
Right.
You don't think about breathing.
Right.
It just happens. Obviously with breathing you can make yourself do it, but this is something where most people's brains just naturally do this training.
Right. Correct.
And I don't know why your mic isn't working. I'm sorry. I'll have you share with Q. Apparently I'm not technologically savvy enough. But explain to me, that sounds like it could be traumatic, but what does it cause in a child when that happens?
It can be traumatic. Essentially, we found out that Tessa had hydrocephalus when I was 20 weeks pregnant. So we found out via an ultrasound and had to go get all sorts of ultrasounds throughout the rest of the pregnancy. Mm-hmm. And when she was 32 weeks in, which is a couple of months early, her head was measuring at the size of a full-term infant.
Which is, I'm married to a labor delivery nurse. I actually know that's bad.
That's no good. Yeah,
that's not a good thing.
That's not good.
Okay.
Yeah. So our medical team felt it was in her best interest to deliver her via C-section and get her out so that she could have surgery. The extra fluid is a problem because it puts pressure on your brain and essentially severely squishes your brain, which can cause brain damage.
I'm against that.
Yeah, I'm against that too.
Yeah. Okay. So can you guys stick around for a couple more minutes? Because I want to hear a little bit more about Tessa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So it's Hydrocephalus Awareness Month. We'll have these guys tell you here in just a couple minutes a website on this. And interesting, I learned this little tidbit. I feel all geeky because I know this. There's a statistic about hydrocephalus. And if I get this wrong, feel free to yell at me live. That there are more children affected with hydrocephalus that are born with hydrocephalus than cerebral palsy. Is that close?
That's close. Yeah, it's at least as common.
Okay, but yet, and by the way, by no means demeaning cerebral palsy and issues there, but it's much less known. So I want you to share in a couple minutes here about Tessa, because she's a doll. Tell us about Tessa and how folks can get involved. 89.5 KTSY. That's Stephen Curtis Chapman with Chris Tomlin and We Fall Down. If you didn't get your tickets, by the way, to see Stephen here in Boise, they are sold out. But the good news is there's tickets still in Twin, and you can find yours online at 895ktsy.org. Now, right now, though, kind of a special visit, not a surprise visit, because McHugh and Heather actually warned me, and well, frankly, I forgot. But anyway, moving on from that, it's Hydrocephalus Awareness Month, and McHugh and Heather have this precious little baby girl named Tessa. And McHugh was out here a couple weeks ago. We were hanging out, and he was showing me pictures of Tessa. And as a dad, it's funny. They don't even have to be your own kids, and your heart still melts, you know? Tessa is this adorable little baby, but that's about as much as I can say about her because she's an adorable little baby. So tell us about Tessa.
Tessa's a wonderful, adorable little baby.
Well, you added the word wonderful. Thank you.
All those great adjectives, those are all applicable.
No, Tessa's 15 months old. She's followed by a team of doctors still. She gets a weekly occupational and physical therapy. I still wonder what her occupation is. She's a baby. So
is she going to get a job?
What are you training her for?
Her job is to be an adorable baby.
That's right, and she's doing great.
She's starting to stand up on her own. She's starting to pull up on everything. She's wrestling with her sister as much as she can.
She's got some words.
She's got some words. She's getting teeth. She's doing everything that you would think that a normal baby would be doing at this point.
As a mom, I have to say my current favorite is Uh-Oh.
Oh, see, now here's the thing. I got to tell a little backstory just because I've known McHugh for a while. First off, hydrocephalus, if you just turned your radio on, is it classified as a disorder? Is that the right classification for it?
I think it's just it would be more classified as a condition,
a medical condition.
Yeah.
Okay, where the brain doesn't drain properly like it does for the rest of us,
Fluid in your brain.
And so that can be very scary. Heather and McHugh were telling us a few minutes ago, if it's not dealt with, you get fluid on the brain, and that's dangerous.
Well,
it's a fatal condition if you do not treat it.
Yep.
And so Tessa, the fact that Tessa's talking. The fact that Tessa's saying "uh-oh,"
sure.
The fact that Tessa is interacting, tell us why that's a big deal.
Oh, that's a huge deal. When we first found out about hydrocephalus and what Tessa was going to go through, we looked at her scans of ultrasound scans, and you would look at her head and you would just see a black hole. You would not see anything that would lead you to believe that this child was going to thrive. And so Heather and I, we had very honest and open conversations about our family and steps that we would have to take with our family. We really wondered, will Tessa be just a burden on her big sister as she grows up? Are we able to handle this sort of thing? So to see Tessa standing up and babbling and eating with her own two hands and
it's amazing.
It's huge. It's a huge blessing.
It's a huge blessing, and it's just a testament to, McHugh and I were when we had these conversations, we just came to the point that, this is God's plan. We don't know why this is God's plan, but this is God's plan, and whatever His will is going to be is whatever it's going to be, and we don't know why that is, but that's okay. And I don't think we'll ever fully know the reasons why she has what she has, but I think one of the reasons she does is McHugh and I have really both found a passion for advocating for this, and not only advocating for this and getting awareness out there, but reaching out to other people in this community who are also affected by it, and hopefully, starting some sort of support group in the Valley, because we don't have one right now.
Right.
And hopefully, getting some group of people together so that nobody in the Valley affected by this condition feels like they're going through it alone.
Now, here's the thing I love the most about this, you guys, is that this is an amazing story that reminds you that God is still working miracles.
Yep.
He may choose to work His miracles through doctors, but He still works miracles. And it's such a story of hope. And listen, if you just turned on your radio, hydrocephalus, which is what we've been talking about for a few minutes with Tessa, McHugh and Heather's daughter, it is about as common, we'd established, as cerebral palsy. It's just not as well known. So if you or someone you know has been affected by this, or you know of someone maybe who's pregnant who just found out this diagnosis, they have a website. And it's they made it easier, thank goodness, because I would never be able to spell hydrocephalus ever. It's Hydroassoc, that's an abbreviation, so HYDROASSOC.org. And if you want to know more about that, when you get home, check out Afternoons with Travis on Facebook. I'll have the link up there for you. And thanks to you guys.
Thank you.
For stopping by. And again, you can go to that website, hydroassoc.org, to find out more about hydrocephalus and to hopefully connect with other families who have been through that too.
Definitely.